Okay. Let's see. I kind of just wanted to recap the trip because I'm not 100% sure if everyone really knows exactly what our like main goal was in Kenya. And I know there's like different bits and pieces that we each kind of talked about. But what we really wanted to do, or what the I guess main purpose was to distribute water filters, um, which is a really cool opportunity that we had, um, where people that didn't have water and that lived in like the middle of nowhere, where they had like dirty water and they were getting diseases from water, all preventable diseases that they die from every single day that we go without even knowing about, because that's just how it is here. So we went into these different places every single day to distribute water filters or do various activities. And throughout the trip, I guess a couple things spoke to me. I guess the first thing, I know people are talking about, oh, worshiping God and like how faithful they were and how wonderful they were and how much they trusted in God. I didn't expect that at all. I actually had no, like, I didn't know what to expect at all. I guess we were all going in there blindly of what it was going to be like. So it was kind of it was kind of weird when you walk down the street in a place, or we weren't walking, but we were driving. So you drive down the street, um, and imagine going through the crappiest place in Philadelphia times 5. And you're walking down the street, and there's just like church signs, probably every 10 blocks, just different little church settlements that are probably like 10 people big. Um, like 10 people big, but then there's bigger churches. And it's like, what the heck? There's churches in Kenya? I didn't expect that. I I didn't expect that at all, and that kind of blew me away when we went for the first day. Um, Clemson kind of mentioned it when you're in this big city that doesn't even look like a city, that you can't even call a city, that's like completely incomparable to any city we have here. And we walk down the street, and you walk down this little path that's basically just a path of garbage down into a place, and you turn left, and there's just houses. You erase memory 5 seconds ago, they're not houses. They are not houses, they're shacks. You can't barely call them tents, where people are spending their lives. Um, and we're walking through this place that you would call a slum, and there's just people just like sitting there watching you walk down, and then we make a right, and it's not even a right because you're squeezing through this little, I guess, water drainage thing that's just like a little cement block going down, and these little girls are like peeing like right in this little thing as it goes down this giant alleyway, and it's the most disgusting place you've ever seen in your entire life, that I've seen in my entire life, and it smells like crap, because probably it is crap. And you're just walking down this place with sheet metal all around you. You're going down, people are watching you, and you turn left. And you walk into this one building in the center of it, of the entire place. There's this one building, and you walk in, and there's 50 kids this big screaming at the top of their lungs, just going berserko because you're there. You're white, you're friendly, you're here to be with them, and I was overwhelmed. I was like, what? Why are these people so happy? And Then a minute later, I guess the leader comes out and he starts clapping and singing songs about Jesus. And they're reciting verses that I've never even heard of. And it's just like, why is this happening? Like, it was just like, you kind of had to step back and be like, what the heck is going on? Like, why are they being so happy, and why are they praising Jesus in the middle of the worst place that I've ever been in my entire life? So that was kind of a perspective change, and that kind of opened my eyes throughout the trip of what I was going to expect. And a couple of different times, Jesus was just like, I'm here more than any place that I've ever seen in America. And I was like, he kept telling me that, like, I'm here, and I was just like, why are these people like so filled with Jesus? And because Laura said it's all they have, and I've never really like experienced, like, if Jesus was all I have, then what really do you need? And these people, instead, this was another thing that I learned, instead of, like, through their troubles, they've learned to lift Jesus up and rely on Jesus and rely on God in the midst of their problems. And here, and I, in the midst of my problems, I don't lift God up. I push him down. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Why is this happening? You suck. But in Kenya, they're like, no, you don't suck. You're like, no, I'm being serious. How many times have we said that? Like, I'm mad. This isn't going my way. God, what the heck? And they're in Kenya. God, we love you. Please make it go this way. We trust you that what we're going through right now is because of you, and that we can make this so much better, and that God is just like so big there, and that they rely on him so much, and it's just like, what the heck? Why? Like, they have so much faith. It's crazy. I don't know. I guess I want to highlight, I had a little note thing. Um, Another little highlight we went to, we were staying in this, we were staying in a place, and we were going into an IDP camp, which is an internally displaced people, because a couple years back they had an election and it went crazy and people went chaotic and they started killing people, so all the people, or all the women and children and people that didn't want to kill people, ran out into the middle of nowhere, and they're starting to rebuild their homes again. And we drive out in the middle of nowhere, literally. Now you can't call it a road because it's not a road, but it's like a tarred grass path. And we come down this like road, and then you go even farther back into another road. It's like extreme off-roading, and I've done off-roading, and this is extreme off-roading. Where we come into this little village, and literally people are living in tents, and as soon as the bus comes, all the little kids come screaming out like Mzungu, because you're a white person and that's what white person means, so they're like, white person what? And then, so we get out of the bus and all the kids like come over and I'm like, hi, and they're like, how are you, and I'm like, hi, because they're like surrounding you, and I'm going like, what's your name? And he's like, Ringrito, and I'm like, oh, cool name. And the other guy's like, because like, you have no idea what they're saying. And they're like, oh, my name's like Shinkabuka. So now I'm going down the name, and I have no idea, and I get to this one little girl, and I go, hey, what's your name? And she's like, my name's Blessing. And I'm like, Blessing? Really? They named you Blessing, and you're in this place? Like, it was just like, they're blessed by the littlest things that God does, because they're so big to them. And it's just like the picture of God in Kenya is so big, and it is so small here, and that needs to be changed so fast, because it is just dropping and dropping and dropping. And it's just, I mean, I guess that's kind of all I had. But, It was a wonderful trip. I guess to recap the entire trip, I'd say if being in Kenya was being the hands and feet of Jesus, was living for God every single day, then I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the entire world. And that I'd want to be there every single day if it was living for God every single day. So, I guess just so crazy and wonderful that I fell in love with it, and I love it. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. Maybe stay a couple years.
Risky, want to do this or no?